Do you ever wonder why some people don't seem to like you? We all crave to be liked and respected, but sometimes certain habits can unintentionally steer people away. These habits might be subtle, perhaps even unnoticed by you, but they can have a significant impact on how others perceive you. In this video, I will share with you 10 habits that may cause people to dislike you. By recognizing and avoiding these habits, you can become a more likable and respected person. The first habit that can make people dislike you is constant complaining. We all have those days where everything seems to go wrong, and it's completely normal to vent about it. However, when complaining becomes a regular part of your conversation, it can create a cloud of negativity around you. This constant stream of grievances can make those around you feel unhappy and stressed, as they may start to view their interactions with you as draining rather than uplifting. Moreover, constant complaining can paint you in a pessimistic light as someone who focuses more on problems rather than solutions. This isn't to say that you should bottle up your frustrations, but rather try to balance your complaints with positive observations. So, try to keep your complaints in check and focus more on the positive things. The second habit is self-praise. Self-praise is a tricky road to navigate. On one hand, we all want to celebrate our achievements, share our victories, and be proud of what we've accomplished. On the other hand, constantly talking about your own success can come off as arrogant and self-absorbed. It's important to strike a balance. Sharing your achievements is not a bad thing, but it's about the way you do it. If you constantly boast about your accomplishments without showing interest in others, it can make you seem self-centered. People appreciate humility. They appreciate individuals who can acknowledge their achievements without becoming conceited. They appreciate people who can share their success stories in a way that inspires others rather than making them feel inferior. So, the next time you want to talk about your accomplishments, remember to do it in a way that respects and values the people around you. Remember, humility is a virtue that is greatly appreciated by many. The third habit that can make people dislike you is gossiping. Now, who doesn't love a juicy piece of gossip, right? But here's the thing, when you constantly talk about others, especially when it's about their personal matters or spreading rumors, it can make you seem untrustworthy and petty. It's as if you're broadcasting to the world that you can't be trusted with personal information. Not to mention, it can also make you seem like you're always on the lookout for flaws in others, which isn't a very attractive trait to say the least. Plus, gossiping can often come back to bite you, and it's not a surprise when it does, because when you spread rumors or secrets, you're essentially playing with people's trust. So try to avoid gossiping and focus on building trust instead. After all, trust is the cornerstone of any healthy relationship, be it personal or professional. The fourth habit is lying. This deceitful act is one that corrodes the foundation of trust and respect between individuals. When we lie, we are essentially betraying the person's trust in us, and this transgression is often hard to forgive. People value honesty and authenticity, and when they sense that someone is not being truthful, it can cause them to feel uneasy and question the person's integrity. Lying can create a vicious cycle where one lie leads to another, and before you know it, you're stuck in a web of deceit. It's important to remember that even small, seemingly harmless lies can lead to a loss of credibility. A reputation for honesty, on the other hand, can strengthen bonds and build trust. Even when the truth is difficult to say, it's far better to be upfront and honest. In the end, honesty is always the best policy. The fifth habit that can make people dislike you is being overly critical. This is not to say that constructive criticism is bad. On the contrary, it can be highly beneficial and foster growth. However, there's a fine line between offering helpful feedback and constantly criticizing or belittling others. When you're always finding fault or highlighting the negatives, it can make you seem mean-spirited and unkind. It's like you're always ready to pounce on someone's mistakes or weaknesses, and that can be really off-putting. No one likes to feel judged or looked down upon, and when you're overly critical, that's exactly how you make people feel. It's important to remember that everyone makes mistakes. We all have our strengths and weaknesses. Instead of focusing on the negatives, try to see the positives. Be understanding and patient. It's not about lowering your standards, but about raising your level of empathy and kindness. The sixth habit is interrupting. We've all been there, in the middle of a story or explanation, only to be cut off by someone else. It's not only frustrating, but it's also disrespectful. When we interrupt, we're essentially signaling that what we have to say is more important than what the other person is saying. It's a behavior that can quickly make people dislike you. Remember, communication is a two-way street. It's not just about expressing your thoughts, but also about listening to others. By constantly interrupting, you're robbing yourself of the opportunity to learn from others and to build deeper connections. So what can you do instead? Practice active listening. Show interest in what the other person is saying. Wait for them to finish their thoughts before you respond. This simple shift in behavior can make a world of difference in how you're perceived. So try to listen more and interrupt less. The seventh habit is a lack of empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It's like stepping into someone else's shoes and seeing the world from their perspective. When we lack empathy, we tend to come off as insensitive and uncaring, which can be off-putting to those around us. Imagine you're having a bad day and someone dismisses your feelings, telling you to just get over it. That doesn't feel good, does it? It can make you feel invalidated and alone. This is why empathy is so important. It allows us to connect with others on a deeper level, to validate their feelings and to provide comfort and understanding in times of need. In a nutshell, lacking empathy can push people away. It can make us seem selfish, unkind, and detached from the feelings of others. Remember, empathy is a powerful tool for building strong relationships. The eighth habit is ignoring basic manners. Imagine you're at the grocery store. The cashier hands you your change, but you snatch it up without a word and walk away. This might seem like a small thing, but it's these small acts of rudeness that can make you seem unlikable. Saying thank you, please, and sorry are the cornerstones of politeness. They show respect to the people around you, and they make you seem considerate and thoughtful. If you don't use these words when they're called for, you can come off as rude and inconsiderate. And who likes a rude person? No one. So don't underestimate the power of these simple words. They can change the way people perceive you, and they can even change the way you perceive yourself. So always remember your manners. The ninth habit is not listening. Now, we've all been guilty of this one at some point or another. When we're not actively engaged in a conversation, it sends a clear message to the other person that we don't consider what they're saying to be worth our time or attention. It's a habit that can easily make us come across as disinterested, disrespectful, and even rude. Picture this. You're pouring your heart out to a friend only to notice they're too busy scrolling through their phone to actually hear what you're saying. It's frustrating, isn't it? It makes you feel as if you're not being valued. That's exactly how others feel when we don't listen to them. Listening is about more than just hearing the words that are being said. It's about understanding, empathizing, and responding in a meaningful way. So try to be more attentive and show interest in what others are saying. The 10th and final habit is a lack of personal hygiene. Maintaining your personal hygiene isn't just about looking good, it's a fundamental aspect of respect for yourself and for those around you. When you neglect your personal hygiene, it may seem as though you don't care about your own health and well-being, which can make it difficult for others to see you in a positive light. It's not just about brushing your teeth or taking regular showers, although those are certainly important. It's also about taking care of your health, keeping your living and working spaces clean, and presenting yourself in a way that shows you respect yourself and the people you interact with. Neglecting your personal hygiene can also lead to various health problems, which can further impact how others perceive you. So take the time to look after yourself. It's a clear sign of self-respect and can go a long way in improving how others view you. So always take care of your personal hygiene. Those were the 10 habits that can make people dislike you. From constant complaining, self-praise and gossiping, to lying, being critical, interrupting, showing lack of empathy, ignoring manners, not listening, and lack of personal hygiene. It's important to be aware of these habits and strive to correct them if necessary. By doing so, you can foster better relationships and become more likable. Remember, by avoiding these habits, you can become a more likable and respected person. Thank you for watching.